Hello everybody. Little computer glitch made it so that way I missed the first turn. But here we are with Stompy for game 5 of the sealed or not the sealed Pauper, but the Pauper League. Looks like we're up against a mono black control, which with the slow hand could be tough. Though if I do get another land up, I should be okay. With the Burning Tree Nest Invader and then the little Eldrazi spawn to protect against some of the edicts. And nope. So hopefully we can get some value cards here soon. Just that way I can play out the majority of my hand. Or at a minimum a young wolf. There we go. That's definitely annoying. I'm definitely way on the back foot right now. But maybe we'll just have a hand of all removal, but it's not looking like that's too true here. I'm assuming that he has some sort of spell here, but I'm gonna be risky anyway. Hopefully the Nest Invader survives. Should have put the Rancor on it before. That was definitely foolish of me, but that's gonna happen. The Diabolites are definitely getting annoying, but you know, maybe I should have played the Young Wolf instead, but I like having a few creatures up. But I really need to start putting some pressure on this guy. Probably once again playing a little too risky. I'll probably end up siding out the elephant guides at a minimum against the obolites. Was a little worried that he would block or something. Maybe should have held up the spawn for, or some mana for the hunger, but this way hopefully we can swing in with something. Third obolite? Nope. Let's see if he concedes just because he had a slower or not great hand. It'll definitely be tough. Shooting rats is annoying, but it's fine. Let's see what his last spell is here. Cool. Definitely fine swapping those. I would like to put this on one of the other creatures, but with the trample it makes just a ton more sense. He can block 8 out of 10. And if I toss the elephant guide on something else, it's unlikely to be quite enough, but maybe I should have tossed the elephant guide on the nest invader. But hopefully this is enough to squeak through. If not, it'll put him in a tough predicament. Cool. So that was a tougher game than I would have liked. The obolites or whatever are definitely difficult and not quite fun. So I want to keep the hunger in. The ledge walkers definitely, the nest invaders. We're probably going to see some crypt rats. So it'll probably make sense to leave the elephant guides in. What I would like to bring in is a few mutagenic growths. I take out a ranger because they seem pretty like they can get sniped pretty easily. And maybe I'll take out one elephant guide for the growth. The guides are good, but it definitely can put the pressure on them. So hopefully this is enough to take this round. Definitely not a fan of playing against mono black. All the sacrifice is really hard. The life gain is, you can deal with it, but it definitely doesn't make things easy. And things like crypt rats that are board wipes are just annoying and difficult. Seems like definitely a decent hand here. Hopefully we can bait something out on the ranger and then protect the ledge walkers. And we do have mutagenic growth to keep something else alive. What I would like to see are some other pump spells that we can put on the ledge walkers that will be much more persistent. It's definitely annoying. Oh, that was stupid. That's fine. Definitely would have preferred, or not preferred. Sentinel's good. I'm trying to bait out some of his removal on that, and then maybe I can drop down the ledge walker when the coast is a little bit more clear. Definitely saw that coming. He's probably going to play a sacrifice spell. Nope, he goes for the chittering rats instead for the disruption, which is definitely better for me. Not having to use the mutagenic growth on it to take out his chittering rat to get some damage through, it's definitely a plus, because then I've got the vines if I want to prevent something that he's going to do, or still cast the mutagenic growth. Or both. Of course, Mind Wretch is very annoying. And puts me in a bad spot. Makes sense that he would block with the chittering rats. I don't really want to cast the vines on it, so we'll let them trade. He's probably going to double up with his witches on the sentinel, So unless I get some more pump spells for the Ledge Walker, it looks like I'll be losing this quite quickly. Though he doesn't have too many cards in his hand, so there might be some hope. Let's see if he tries to pop them now. Or if he's going to try to double block to see if he can save it. Or he just lets them through, probably, so that way he can pop them later on, at the end of my turn. If I had one more mana, I probably would have doubled up to go in with 8 against him. I think I'll let him... I worry that he has a sacrifice spell again. So I'm going to pump that up. It's definitely not ideal. To waste the cards like this, especially because he probably still has some sort of sacrifice spell, and he was trying to wipe out all my creatures. And now he'll only be able to wipe out one. And it would have been nicer to use the vines when attacking. The nice thing is, depending on his hand and how he decides to block here, with the vines I'll be just short of taking him out next turn. So I think I have to hold on to the vines again this turn. And of course he was able to flush out the vines, so I should have used it last turn. But at least he is pinging himself and I can play anything in my deck. So if he does drop these two down, I should be able to get him pretty low, but he still probably has a Chainer's Edict to get rid of the Ledge Walker. But maybe next turn I'll get lucky, draw my last vines, and swing in for the win. Unlikely, but possible. I have a feeling he would have cast the sacrifice spell then, unless it is an instant. So at least I get to do a little bit more for him. Drawing the land is not what I needed, but hopefully we can get something next turn to finish him off. Yep. Was waiting for that. It'll be very hard for me to get much further from here. Especially if he draws his devotion creature. It is good that he keeps pinging himself, so maybe I could get, you know, a young wolf or something. Another ledgewalker would be ideal. Sentinel is not ideal. He definitely doesn't really want to keep pinging me. So I'm assuming he has a Chainer's Edict or an Obolite. Yep. Tossing in the fight cards. Epic Confrontation would be good to take out the witches, but I'm not sure if it would be quite enough. Not the Death Stroke yet. It's close though. The Chittering Rats definitely put a major hurt on. Just because he can deal me 5 damage next turn, and I pretty much can't swing in for the win after that. And he's probably looking for the 2/4 Devotion card. Getting dead draws for a while has not made this game fun. It would be nice to put in the sabotages, but it's not completely likely that we'll see the Obolite. Maybe one or two. So maybe I'm wrong in not including it. But I hope the confrontations help. And hopefully we have a solid hand here that could help power us through. So lead off with the Ranger, play the Skulk. I can drop another land next turn to hold up for hunger. Rancor would be nice, but that might come out next. Looks like I don't even need to do that. So it is tempting to play the Rancor now, but I think I'll swing in, play the Skulk, the Ranger, well, might hold up for the hunger. Because if he does decide to kill one of my creatures, that takes it out of the majority of his kill range. And if it is a sacrifice, like I get to choose the sacrifice, I can drop the Ranger and then have a 5/5 fairly unblockable. Would have been nice to get a little bit more out of that, but I'm fine with just the extra token and getting the Rancor to stick, because that's still quite a bit of damage this turn against him. Yep, that makes sense. It's painful to lose the Rancor. But I can still get another Skulk and the Ledgewalker, and the next turn play the Rancor on that, which is nice. Of course, there's a good chance he has the deal or give all creatures -1/-1, which would really put a hurt on me right now. I would still have this Skulk to go through, but I wouldn't have much else for the other cards. Is that a Chittering Rats? Yep. I'm hoping that he just decides to not block, but sadly he does in this case. Definitely gonna hold the Ranger back, just in case I can get something else good. Or in case he does wipe out all the creatures. Sadly, that's going to come back and haunt us again soon. And the forest really doesn't help us here. But if we're lucky this lands, I'll play the ranger. Hopefully it doesn't have 2 sacrifice cards or a way of killing all 1/1s. And then if I'm super lucky, I'll draw into the vines and be able to win next turn. Nope. So that's not going to happen. Shrivel. Nope. I'm okay with that. We're back in range if I get vines. Chittering rats is quite annoying once again. But it isn't a massive threat for us, which is good. I'm not sure why he isn't pressuring me. I'm okay with it. But it's still a little surprising. So if I get any sort of pump spell next turn, I can win. A mutagenic growth, vines. I'm assuming he didn't get a shrivel. That's painful, but can still manage here. Still not sure why he's not attacking completely in. I'm saddened by the late forest there. So many cards in this deck could win. And now I'm worried that he's picked up his shrivel. Or another sacrifice card, which means that I pretty much lose. Pretty flabbergasted by that. Just not getting any luck at all with it. And he probably still has a way to get me to sacrifice something. Or to drain me down. On the plus side, this does have trample, so he has to hold back at least the gray merchant, or both of the other cards. And he might be extra careful just because of the trample and any combat tricks. wish I had a combat trick. It might have been smarter to hold the Nettle Sentinel up and hold off from attacking and play the Ledge Walker. Just that way I've got protection from a sacrifice. And then I probably would have been able to swing in. So that might have cost me the game here, depending on what he draws. Nope. He goes out with a bang. So I was able to pull it out in the end. That was a lot closer than I would have liked, but I was able to finish 3-2. I'm just glad his deck was a little bit slower and didn't come together in the last couple of games. So that way I can make